Welcome, everyone. Hello,
Hi,
hello, hi. Okay, James, we're on round two, book two. Aren't you so excited?
I'm ready.
Yes. We're just gonna wait a minute to get some people to join us. I know I had to change the day and the time of the call, but I did let some people know so that they can join us right at 8 o'clock. So, oh, Rebecca, hi. Thanks for joining us. We're just going to wait a minute to a couple other people join. Yay! Hello, welcome. Welcome to book number two. Woohoo! Oh, that was my broken nail. Let's do this one. The Big Leap. Woohoo! Okay, let's just wait a minute. This is like I feel like we should play like music or something. Go ahead, do it, James.
I'm so tone deaf. It's not even funny. I don't even sing karaoke. It's shameful.
Well, James, why don't we just have a little chat, you and I, for a second while we're waiting for people, and then we'll just jump right in.
I have an idea.
Yes, please.
So we broadcast on Facebook Live on what page?
Erlinda Vo. It's the public page.
The public. Okay, so what can people find it under? Is it like at?
At Vibe Up with Erlinda Vo.
Cool.
Woohoo!
Perfect.
Ah,
Hey,
Sada.
Sarah. Glad
Okay.
Sarah could join us.
Yay! We
Rebecca.
have some people here. Let's just get started, James. What do you think?
Yeah, let's dive right in.
Actually, I'm going to take us off track for just a second, too, because you know how I like to roll. Anything you want to just say inside of our little break that we have? Because I know some people are joining us from the last book. Some people are starting newly with us. Anything you want to just say inside of our little break? Just anything you want to share?
It was good to have a little break. Hi, Anna. Good to have a little break. Good to be back in the saddle.
Yeah.
There's a certain something that comes along with living in an intentional framework.
Yes.
Right?
Well said.
So, ironically, my shirt says "Freeing is believing." This is one of my favorite shirts, by the way. I wear it all the time. I've had it for I think like 10 years, which is.
I've never seen you wear that shirt.
Real good.
Okay, well, let's just back up a second. We'll go right into it. But welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Erlinda Vo, the Energy Alchemist, and I'm here with James. He's doing a little dance. James, why don't you just take a minute and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so thanks. Hi, everybody. My name is James Bastian Van Hofwegen. I am a realtor here in Chicago. I help people fulfill their dreams through real estate.
Great. And this is our book number 2. And what you are joining us is how to get rich. Well, it's the Get Rich Book Club. And I was reading my notes. Sorry, it was a little wrong here. Okay, so you guys, this is book 2. We took a little break. Some of you guys joined us for the book 1, which was unbelievable. If you have not seen those videos, they're almost finished downloading on a YouTube channel, so you can watch them all. And I'll give you guys an opportunity to sign up and get all the videos so you can see all of them. We just did about 13 to 14 weeks. I think it ended up being like a total of 17 weeks with some breaks of You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And you guys are in book 2 right now. So this book is amazing. You want to show us a little book, James? The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. But before we start, we want to just back up a second. Some of you guys might not know the story of how the Get Rich Book Club came into existence. So I just want to tell this story really quick. So a friend of mine was telling me about James's love for this book called You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And she was just going on and on about how James loved this book. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't know. James doesn't love anything. James will tell you a little bit about who he is and why that's funny. Because, right now he's he's totally open and causing this. But when I knew James a long time ago, he wasn't very open. So that I was like, James loves this book. What? I have to go get this book just to double check, because there must be something going on with this book if James loves it. Right. So I ended up getting the book. I ended up falling in love with the book. And at like 2 or 3 or 4, one of those mid hours of the evening, in the morning, early morning, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, we have to do this Get Rich Book Club. And I started writing next to me, and I started taking all these notes. And I was like, I called James up and I'm like, James, we have to do this Get Rich Book Club. And, you know, I had all these ideas in my head and didn't even know what was happening. But here we are. So, James, why don't you just say your side of the story? Because I know it's a little different.
It's a little different. Yeah. So I was undergoing quite a change in my life. Had been working in public accounting, ended up getting laid off, making a career change. Really noticed that I needed to transform, or I wanted to transform my relationship to money. So I started reading, and I thought, well, okay, this "You're a Badass" book did incredibly well by Jen Sincero. People love it. I picked up the one about money because that's what I was going to work on. Absolutely loved it. It got into some stuff that I was not really familiar with at all, didn't really believe in, didn't subscribe to, right? And just thought it was a bunch of nonsense, to be honest with you. And then I started just blindly kind of following the book and following along, and it was working. And I was doing all the nonsensical stuff that the book was saying to do, and it was working. And then I was working with Erlinda here and there throughout the whole process, and working to shift my energy. That's the kind of nonsensical stuff that I was referring to earlier, which turns out to be entirely not nonsensical.
Yes.
Double negative. That means it really makes sense. Just so that we don't lose anybody. So long story short, I'm like telling everybody about this book. I'm like, you got to read this book. You got to read this book. You got to, like, friends of mine are getting upset with me. They're like, dude, shut up about the book. I'm like, all right, well, look, when I get rich, I'm not going to be doing poor people stuff like we're doing now. I'm not going to even talk about it. I'm going to be on a boat, and, you know, maybe I'll let you drive it.
Yeah, well, that's actually what you were hoping to create and to generate, was a community around you, right? And when I read the book, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so up my jam. She talks about frequencies. And I was like, this is totally for me, right? Because I'm the energy alchemist, all about changing your frequency, vibing yourself up so you can get to the next level. And you're right. You know, there's a lot of people who have joined us for the first book and who are joining us for the second book, who have a lot of people around them start to get a little wacky. They don't, you know, they're not sure how to be with you as you start to increase your frequency, as you start to increase your money, as you start to increase having good stuff in your life. So yeah, it was an idea that popped in, and James actually told me no at first. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Erlinda calls me in the morning when I'm making breakfast. I'm like making an omelet, and she's like, James, we have to do this book club. Oh my God. And I'm like, no.
And he said it just like that. And I was like, don't kill my dream. And I was like, no, we have to do this.
And the next thing I know, my face is all over Facebook Live. I'm like doing videos in like apartment building lobbies and stuff like that. It's absolutely nuts. I'm like, I've never been on live anything. What am I doing?
So here we
podcast.
Yep. So here we are.
We're having a blast. So look, you guys, before we say anything else, I really want to presence the intention of the book club.
Yeah.
Because it's a very powerful intention, and I want to get you guys aligned with it. So our specific intention for this Get Rich Book Club is to align your energy with what you're creating for your own income, wealth, and abundance. We could even tack on to that. Let me say it just one more time. We're aligning your energy with what you're creating for your own income, wealth, and abundance. We could tack on to that love. We can tack on to that relationships,
health,
perfect because you and I are both playing that game big time right now. Whatever you want to tack onto that, go ahead and tack it on. But the point is that we're up to our specific intention with everything that we're doing here, all the discussions, all the, banter back and forth is really to align not just your energy, but our energy as well, right? We're actively working through this.
Oh yeah.
Erlinda and I, like we put ourselves through the ringer week in and week out to to hopefully bring you guys a lot of value. So we're aligning our energy with what we're creating for our own income, wealth, and abundance.
Yeah.
So
well, I want to talk about, so, when you read a story, it's always better if you have someone to share it with.
Yeah.
So what could be better than sharing it with a group of friends who are reading that same book too, right? And we think our book club is the best because we're out there virtually, right? And we're about creating an online social media driven community to not only read books that inspire us and educate us on finances or love or health or, all that different stuff, but to implement what we learn. That's most importantly, right? More importantly, we focus on integrating our knowledge with our energy field so that we are in alignment for being a conscious creator in our life.
Yeah.
That was a lot, right?
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty good. We created that last time, James.
I know. And you guys, we also believe that this is the best book club because we're doing it.
Of course. I mean, where else? It's because they missed me and they love me more, James. I'm just being real.
I'm not even going to argue with that. But look.
But I do have to say, who's much more amazing and totally out there with people is you, okay? We know you used to walk in and kill the flowers, and now you're actually bringing flowers and making them alive.
Thank you. Yeah, I do bring flowers sometimes, and it does kind of brighten up the space.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, most importantly, you guys, we're the best because of you.
Of course.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah. And just so you know, you guys, you might not be a part of our Facebook community. Oh, James is going to talk about that now. Sorry, I jumped the gun. Go ahead,
Don't
James.
jump the shark. All right. So being part of the Get Rich Book Club Facebook group, we've got a Facebook group. It's if you do hashtag Get Rich Book Club, all like no spaces, it should pop up in the search bar, and we've got the little icon there, and it's cool. So being part of the closed Get Rich Book Club Facebook group gives you immediate and complimentary access to the club's structure of study, insight, and community of people who, just like you and I, are engaging in the study and practice of increasing our effectiveness in creating income, wealth, and abundance that we want both in and for our lives. Okay? And through our active participation, through your feedback and the results that we all create collectively, we'll be able to fine-tune the format of the club to maximize the results for all of the members, including you and including us. So you guys make sure, and you know what, I'll save that for just a minute in the future, but if you're not part of the Get Rich Book Club, what are you doing? Go to erlindavo.com/getrichbookclub, register, buy the darn book. We've got a link right there on the website. Buy the darn book, read it, and then hop on the Facebook group, join the Facebook group, get in the Get Rich Book Club, and let's do this.
All right. Well, before I promise you guys we will dive into some of the introduction tonight, but we're just getting the logisticals handled. I really want to say a special thanks to our business team for all the support and showing up weekly to our calls. And actually, you guys, they're doing the work too. They are reading this book. They are hitting their upper limits. They are going nuts, just like you are or we are as we go through this journey together. So thank you to that. But more importantly, thank you to our club members who read along with us, who engage in the book and really start to live their lives inside a new context, pulling them forward towards riches. So really, James was like looking to create a community. He didn't realize we were creating a big community like this, but really this is a community. It's a community of focused intention, Okay, and so this is our book. So why don't we just jump right in? And Sarah, you are the best. So thank you. And yes, we are the best. All right, James, go ahead with some ground rules.
Real quick before that, Erlinda, just to give people a brief scope of the reach of what we do, how many people nationwide every week view this recording?
We had anywhere between 2,500 to 5,800 probably. So I think we impacted in our last book probably like over 50,000 people. So so we have a lot of views and in a very short amount of time for just getting started. So we just thank you. It's because of you guys. And when we're all in a focused intention of towards riches in our abundance, in our love, in our health, all of those things, it's really, really amazing and extraordinary. So thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, exactly. So great. And let's keep the numbers growing, right?
Okay, yeah,
hey,
let's do it.
George. Hey, George.
Hey, George.
Long time no see. All right, cool. So ground rules. During the live video, what we're doing right now, if you're going to make a comment, we love the comments. Please make them.
We do love them.
Keep in mind that this is on the internet and it is public right now. So any comments that are made during the live broadcast, those are totally visible to everyone in the world. So please only comment what you're comfortable sharing in public.
Yeah.
Okay. If you would like to be a little bit more open in a more intimate and private setting, that's what the closed Facebook group is for. You can gain access to that by joining the Get Rich Book Club at erlindavo.com/getrichbookclub. And then we can give you access to that closed Facebook group. So there you can, share whatever you want. Know that it's, part of a community, and still only share what you're comfortable sharing. So
and totally share, okay? That's what I want to say. Totally share. You guys, in this club, we want to wake you up, okay? We want to wake you up to what's holding you back so that you can make new, powerful choices about what you focus on. Like you want to go for it like you've never gone before. And what does it take? It takes getting really, 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 really uncomfortable over and over and over again. Things are really okay. They're just unfamiliar. So as you start to break some barriers, which this whole book is about the upper limit, right? About breaking the upper limit and going past it. So really you want to get things are okay. They're just unfamiliar. So welcome to the Get Rich Book Club and welcome to book number two. This book is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and we're just going to go ahead and dive in. Yes, James. James is our Vanna White. Okay.
Funny story about Vanna White. When I was in in first grade, my teacher's name was Miss White. And I told my grandma that she was Vanna White's sister. And my grandma totally bought it. So like she goes for some reason she was at my school, she was meeting my teacher, and she goes, "Are you really Vanna White's sister?" Because my grandma would watch like Wheel of Fortune every night.
Oh my God, James, that's
totally
hilarious.
Busted. Yeah. So, okay, you guys, tonight we're just touching the introduction, right? So
there's still time to catch up, you guys. Join us. Yeah.
It's a totally quick read, the introduction. I read it in like maybe 10 minutes, taking my time, eating popcorn tonight before we jumped on the call. No joke. I'd read it before too. Okay, don't get the wrong idea.
Okay, good. I was gonna say, James, you're leaving people hanging.
No, come on. This is me we're talking about. I never fly by the seat of my pants. Okay, so the introduction. Remove your last obstacle to ultimate success in wealth, work, and love. I really like this title because it talks about abundance and riches, how we see it, right? It talks about wealth, work, and love, not just money. And you want to get to ultimate success in all areas of your life, not just riches or money, right? You have to this is something that I got crystal clear about in the last book, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. I had for a moment, well, actually quite a while, I stopped focusing at all on the area of romance and relationship, and I focused strictly on work, right? Like I gotta make money. I gotta work. I can't, like, no distractions. Money not coming in. So I'm like, I wonder if there's something to this, energetic balance, right? Am I energetically blocking the money because I'm blocking the love? And so I started to open up in that area of romance and love and relationship, and everything started taking right off. So so it's not just money, you guys. It's you want to take a look at the balance of your entire life here. And so okay, good. What's the one thing that's holding you back? Well, it's probably the upper limit problem. And the upper limit, I got all excited. If you're brand new to the Get Rich Book Club, I will stumble all over my words and make a complete fool of myself from time to time, and it's all totally cool. Just roll with it. The upper limit problem is holding you back from achieving your true potential, right? Just like mine just did when I stumbled all over myself. Upper limit problem. Are you ready to go the last distance to claim your full potential? If you are, in the comments right now, and you're watching this live on Facebook Live, type in yes. Give us that confirmation that you're up to claiming
going
your full
the distance.
potential.
Are you going? Yeah, totally. And James, you made a good point, because you can't say the word for me.
Compartmentalize.
Yes, you can't do that. Like, you can't just focus on one thing and let all the other areas drop. Now, there is the whole thing and the different thinking that you can't really balance. You can only focus on one thing at a time. And I do agree with that, but you can't like block out other stuff, because your life is a holistic whole. Okay, no one's dropping a yes. No one's willing to go the distance to claim your full potential. No one wants to play. What's going on, you guys? Hello, anybody out there? Drop a yes if you're ready to go the long distance to claim your full potential.
You side eye right now.
Woo! Go, Sarah! I'm going the distance, just like Hercules says in that movie, that one movie. Great. Okay, Sarah's the only one's going to go the distance with us, James. Hey,
we got one.
We got one. We're winning. It's all good. Yay, Sada. Okay, some people are out there. Woohoo! Okay, so where are you? And you guys, feel free to drop a yes at any time. It just kind of makes it exciting, okay? Where are you putting on the brakes to new learning? Okay? So this is a new learning. We're about to learn some new things. We're about to explore, embark, and just Sarah and Sada are going in. Yes, and Anna too. Woo! Okay, so where are you putting on the brakes to learning something new? Right? Like, when they were talking about this book that James loved, I was like, I've read so many books. I am not reading that book. Like, whatever. There's like nothing new that they can say. Like, I just literally was, I was a little arrogant, I guess you can say. But the point is that I was kind of resisting and putting the brakes on new learnings. Okay. And if you really are straight, it's like, be truthful. How many people didn't want to do book club right now? How many people did not want to take on another book as a context to live your life from? That's me too. I know I had my moments. I was like, this is what literally went through my head. I was like, James, we like had a really, really good run last time. Let's not mess it up. We did good. And like, that's it. We're good. We're done. There's so much work that needs to still happen to really get this moving as like a well-oiled machine. But, if you think about it, it's good, right? So you guys might have been, wherever you are is perfect, okay? Anything regarding new learnings for you, James?
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with new learning, because like sometimes I just don't want to. And thank you guys for dropping your yeses in. Love that, Lexa, Rebecca. Love to have you guys on board. George, we're waiting for your yes to show up, just so you know. A guy I used to work for once said that your mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. And it's one of those really cheesy sayings that holds true. You guys, through this journey, you just open yourself up to it, and you're going to be amazed with the results that you create. Amazing. So yeah. I get the resignation. I get the resistance to it all. And it's all part of it, right? So that resistance of not wanting to do the second book, upper limit problem, right?
Totally. So in the introduction, he talks to us about needing to practice a specific skill. Okay. And you guys, here's what the specific skill is to identify and transcend our upper limit problems wherever and whenever we encounter them.
Yeah. So you and I are operating under one single problem, and that is the glass ceiling you're under. And you don't even know you have it, right? So once you and I see this one problem and how to solve it, we're free to go beyond ordinary success and extraordinary levels of abundance and love and anything else we desire in our lives, right? So we see the glass ceiling, whoop, break through it, on to the next.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. So if you guys get this, even if you don't, if you just get the specific skill we are out to learn and cause in this book is to identify and transcend our own upper limit problems, because they're unique to you. Okay. So, in this book, he mentions that he's learned that it is essential to keep the heart and soul elements of life growing in balance as you get to higher levels of material success. So basically, how we were talking about money, but it's not just about money. You want to keep it balanced because you want the heart and the soul to also be a part of it. You don't want to, make tons of riches and then not have, a family or relationships, because, right? You get it, right? If you think about it, after the first book in our club, you've probably made some amazing strides in the area of money. Okay, if you went backwards since we've been off for a little bit, just forgive yourself and move on. I know it's easier said than done, but really let it go. What we accomplished during our last book was extraordinary, you guys. There was some extraordinary results. And I assert that wherever you are is completely perfect and exactly where you need to be. If you found yourself going backwards or staying in the same kind of boat, or you didn't make any strides upwards instead of moving forward, I can say probably confidently you hit your upper limit problem.
Exactly. You guys, the thoughts you have after you hit your upper limit and feeling good or having positive feelings will guarantee to return you to a state that you are more familiar with, right? So you have an amazing success, and if you notice, you'll probably have that amazing success, feel great for just a minute, and then come right back down to where you were before. And it's kind of like business as usual.
Yes. I have such a great example because it just happened, James. Literally last week, I spent 12 hours, dedicated about 12 hours scripting for my video shoot last Friday. And on Friday, I woke up early. I was ready to go. I had my hair and makeup done. And I videotaped for 10 hours. Okay. 4 episodes that needed to be redo because the sound was, messed up. When you have such a high frequency, sometimes it just goes messed up, At least that's what we came up to. But here's what happened, you guys. It was amazing. Right after it, I felt so accomplished. I had this sense of peace, accomplishment, success. There was this huge amount of success and accomplishment, you guys. And it was amazing. And then something happened. Monday came, and I seriously had a stream of negative thoughts, like just boom, 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 totally deflate me so much that all I wanted to do was crawl into bed. Now, that is a feeling I am familiar with, like just wanting to crawl in bed, right? And that feeling was more familiar to me than the positive, accomplished, acknowledged, hot and sexy feelings I felt after recording my video, right? So the thoughts that I woke up on Monday, right? So this is Friday. I'm on like such a high. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I had such a successful week. Come Monday, that's what, 3 days later, 2 days later, 3 days later, right? The thoughts I was manufacturing in my brain were guaranteed to make me return to a state I was familiar with. Instead of feeling more and more good and building on that good that I accomplished, it was like, nope, get right back down there. And yesterday was a doozy for me. Oh my goodness. So that's what James is talking about. He's talking about, well, it will guarantee you to a return to a state that you're more familiar with. Yeah. Totally.
And the pattern is really simple, you guys. Just like Erlinda pointed out, you enjoy a period of feeling really good, then you do something to mess it up. Not rocket science. It's do good, mess up. Do good, mess up. Right? So begin to notice that pattern.
It might not be like do good. It might not be that directly correlated. It might not be do good, mess up. It might be do good, like eat on your diet for 2 weeks and then do really bad or get back into your box, right? Or be, it's not necessarily a 1-for-1, but it's like you get to your capacity. You just get to your upper limit where it's like you have no more space to be good. So I wanted just to put that in so that people get that it's not just 1-for-1.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. So just like every researcher begins with, if someone's out to research something, they want to first identify a problem that needs to be solved. And inside of that problem, there are going to be questions that need to be answered, right? So here are the problems. The first is we have a limited tolerance for feeling good. You and I can only feel so good. I know that may fly in the face of a lot of stuff that we went through in the first book. So just consider it right now, okay? If you're like, wait a minute, no, I don't subscribe to that, I got it. And just try it on for a second. We have a limited tolerance for feeling good and for stopping the positive forward trajectory, which brings us back within our limited tolerance boundaries. So we tend to put ourselves in a box, right? With specific boundaries. I can feel this good, and typically the way it goes, I can feel only this good, but I can feel this bad, right? We know how to feel bad. We have millions and millions of nerve connections devoted to registering pain. And we have huge, expansive territories in the center of our bodies dedicated for feeling fear. Those are just evolutionary devices that keep us alive.
Yeah. So that's like the problems, you guys. So how can we extend the period of time in which we're content or feel good? How do we do that? How do we extend, like how do I go from Friday to the next Friday at least? Man, I was like 3 days in and I was like, boom, right? And you guys, this is not just about Erlinda, right? This is about you. Where do you do something really great? And then all of a sudden it's like 3 days or 4 days later and you're boom, right back to that old same feeling, right? So how can we extend the periods of us feeling good and being content? So for chapter 1, you guys, preparing for your big leap, come to next week really looking and answering these 4 questions. Ready for the 4 questions? Am I willing? And this is like so great. This is so brilliant, James, because the question is, are you willing? He asks, are you willing in all 4 questions? And if you got to really be straight with yourself. Are you willing? And it's not saying, are you going to do something? It's just saying, are you willing to increase the amount of time every day that you feel good inside?
Yeah.
The second question is, are you willing to increase the amount of time that your whole life goes well? Are you willing to feel good and have your life go well all the time? Oh my God, my body just totally was like, wow.
Yeah. Let's pause for a second, right?
Yes.
Am I willing to feel good and have my life go well all of the time?
Did your body have a reaction, or was that just me?
Well, given the day I had yesterday, yesterday took some work for me to not like go off the deep end.
I'm glad
Yeah.
I wasn't the only one.
No. So part of that, just to preface, right? So I going through this book, I had moments of disagreement with this book.
Yeah.
And that's so I'm finding a way to, consider that maybe my moments of disagreement are my upper limit problems, right? So all of the time, like yesterday was included in all of the time, and it was not going well.
It was so bad yesterday.
So if I could have, right, what's predictable is that the same or similar occurrence of events will probably happen in the future. But
it's predictable. Yeah, it's predictable that 3 days after I have a huge success, this is just because of what happened. I'm using this as a statistic, okay? But it's kind of predictable. And you guys can look in your life. Like when you have this big success, how long before your upper limit problem kicks in? Mine happened to be 3 days this time. And probably because we're doing this book, we kind of speed it up once we're in a book club, right? And we're living from this context. But really start to look and see like, wow, mine was like 3 days, James. And it was like, boom, done. And I was like, what the heck happened? And I was like, oh my God, we're doing book club, aren't we? Right? It was like, it was real. So continue what you were saying. And wait, one more thing. I really, really appreciate what you're saying because, there are going to be things that you disagree with. Like I heard all the time and I was like, that's not possible. I was like being like a James. I'm like, that's not even possible. All the time. Can you feel good all the time? I don't know. Or like have your life go well all the time. I don't know. It's like my brain is like, I don't know. Now, this guy was interviewing Michael Dell from Dell Computers. So, there's some kind of something that he's dealing with that's a little different than how we're looking at things, right?
Yeah. I went through the same kind of thing that you did. Like all of that. So what's predictable, right, is that everything's going to happen. Or stuff might go wrong the way that it did yesterday. But what might life be like if the same stuff went wrong, but my life was still going well? Because that's exactly what happened in hindsight.
So say that right? Again. You stepped over it. Say it again.
So the stuff went wrong yesterday, right? Like I was in some pretty intense pain in my shoulder. I got a flat tire on the way to work, right? I got stuff was just going wrong. And so if stuff could still go wrong and my life could still go well while the stuff was going wrong, and in fact, that is how it went, right? My life is going well.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that everything always goes the right way, right? If you think of a trend line, and maybe I should do it this way for the camera. If you think of a trend line, if you zoom out enough, the trend line kind of goes like this. If you look at, say, the S&P 500, for those people who track the markets, S&P 500, the trend line kind of goes like this. That doesn't mean that every day there's an increase. Sometimes that sucker takes dips. But if you zoom out enough and you get that bird's eye view far away enough, the trend is positive, even though on a day-to-day basis, right, you're kind of going up and down and up and down and up and down.
Yeah. That's great. And he says, are you willing? Like the question is, am I willing to feel good and to have my life go well all the time? Like, am I willing? And when I first read that, I was like, yeah, not so much, not all the time. I mean, come on, I need a break. I'm tired. I don't know, right? Like we needed a break from book club, like, right? Like, right? It's so much stories that come up with it.
That was a required break. That was necessary.
We did a lot of work in first book. That's why we went with a lighter book this time. The last question, you guys, for next week in our chapter 1 is, are you willing to take the big leap to your ultimate level of success in love, money, and creative contribution? So are you willing? I think that's the biggest question that I want to leave you with is, are you willing? Are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to increase the amount of time that life goes well? Am I willing to go from 3 days to 4 days of, soaking in the accomplishment and the success? So really that's what's there.
And I want to acknowledge something real quick before we close out. A lot of people watching this, just given our circle of friends and everybody who watches this, I know that you and I have been trained in a particular way to hear willingness, right? Yeah. And we've been trained to hear that as willing to want to. Mm. So if that's how you need to hear it in order to be willing to want to, right? You could take that on if it fits for you. Otherwise, just if you're willing, are you willing? Are you willing?
And if the answer is no, it's okay. Just totally get straight with yourself. Get where you are right now. Like that third question about like all the time, I was like, right? So it's okay. Wherever you are is perfect. Just stick through the roller coaster with us.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, want to express some gratitude right now. First and foremost, I'm expressing gratitude to you, Erlinda. Thank you so much for giving birth to the Get Rich Book Club, for, really taking a stand, because you took a stand.
In the face of a big fat no. I was willing to do that over and over.
Yeah, it was not a soft no, you guys. It was a no.
He didn't even know what I was really talking about when he said no anyways.
No idea. So really thank you for taking the stand, making a commitment, having the depth of character and the fortitude to persist through a ton of unknowns and to create an amazing team of people around you. Like you guys, the team of people that help produce and that do a lot of the heavy lifting to make this recording possible, that team of people, each one of those people on that team is an amazing human being. Thank you to each and every one of you guys, because without you, none of this would be possible. So thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you to each and every one of you who are joining us on this journey. Also, without you, this wouldn't be possible. I say that with a laugh, and because as I say it, I really get the interconnectedness of it all. So, is there anybody you'd like to thank, Erlinda, before we?
Really, it's just our members and our team members, and of course, James, I just totally love you. I have profound love for you, and it's extraordinary to get to play off you and to interact with you and to really take some stuff that can be heady or triggering, I should say, and really make some fun about it and really honestly, thanks for putting your heart out there, for sharing who you are, for even when I get to say you walk into a room and flowers die and, my jokes and things like that. You just are so extraordinary. And it's just such an honor to get to play this game with you. It is an honor. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So you guys, See you next week. Don't get used to such an easy read. This book club is out to change our lives. Yeah. So we're going. It's the intensity will pick up. The amount of focus required will increase. And you know, the roller coaster will take some dips and turns and stuff like that. So bring your spine. and stick with us over the next few weeks and really start to notice the results. Rebecca, thank you for all your comments. Sarah, thank you for all your comments. George, thanks for joining us. Lexa, thanks for being here. Anna, everybody who's here, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll
so
see
answer
you.
Those 4 questions before next week, you guys. Be straight with yourself, answer those questions, and we're going to dive into chapter 1. So looking forward to next week. Oh, yes.
Logistics real quick.
Okay.
How do we find the Facebook Live?
It's at symbol. In Facebook, just type at Vibe Up with Erlinda Vo.
Yep. And then if you want to join the Get Rich Book Club, you go to erlindavo.com.
There'll be a Get Rich Book Club, like little symbol there. Just click on there and you can register for that.
Yep. So get the book. It's on Amazon. We've got a link to it on the page. Click that link, get the book. Once you join the Get Rich Book Club, you can get access to the closed Facebook group. That place rocks. Yeah, we've got all sorts of goodies. So jump on board. We will see you next week and every week until we finish this book. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time at Vibe Up with Erlinda Vo on Facebook.
Yay! Thank you guys. Sending so much love, hearts. All right, see you next week.
Good night.